Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Lane Englund, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Our headline of the paper this week is "This the Rebirth of Neepawa's Downtown? Winnipeg developer unveils plan to bring the Kerr Block back to life." On a large photo, the renovation of Neepawa's historic Kerr Block is nearing completion as it is being set up with 5 residential suites and 4 main floor commercial units. By Ken Waddell. Justin Bolo of Westgate Limited from Winnipeg is a renovation specialist. In a phone interview with the Neepawa Banner and Press, Bolo said, "We aren't a big player in the real estate world, but we have about 600 rental units, mostly in Winnipeg and around rural Manitoba. I like rural towns. I believe in them." Among their rural holdings are Valley View Apartments on Bryden and Evergreen Apartments on Mountain Avenue in Neepawa. Those 2 facilities have been renovated and are rented out. The third Neepawa property is the Kerr Block on Hamilton Street in downtown Neepawa. The Kerr Block is planned to have 6 3-bedroom suites with in-suite laundry. The lower level will contain 4 retail units, 2 larger ones and 2 smaller ones, Bolo said. "Construction and renovation is my game. Once renovations are complete, rental and property management is turned over to a realty firm." The historic Kerr Block was built in 1896 by the Kerr family. The block bearing the family name was operated as a department store by 3 generations of the Kerr family. Originally, all 3 floors were used as retail and storage, but in the 1930s, the upper floor was converted to suites. The previous owners did some renovation, but when the heating system was no longer working, the health department ordered it boarded up. The tenants had to leave. After many months of sporadic renovations by the previous owners, Bolo's company bought the Kerr Block. Since then, there has been continuous and vigorous renovations taking place. Bolo said, "I guess the previous owners didn't realize just how much money needed to be invested. I decided we would do a complete renovation so the building will really be nice and ready for rental at a proper market value. The Kerr Block is a great building that has stood the test of time. So we are doing a complete renovation. The restoration is nearing completion, and Bolo is hopeful rentals will be coming soon." And the picture shows the front of the building. Steady progress has been made in the renovations at the Kerr Block, both inside and out, since Westgate Limited purchased the historic Neepawa building. There is still much to be done, but it is nearing completion. Beautiful Plains School Division releases its budget for 2025-26 by Owen Devereaux. The numbers have officially been crunched by the Beautiful Plains School Division for its potential budget for the next school year. An online video review of the proposal was uploaded onto the school division website on Tuesday, March 4th. An ad featuring those numbers also appeared in the March 7th edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. In the video presentation, Beautiful Plains School Division Superintendent Jason Young and Secretary-Treasurer Shannon Bays explained the details behind the budget results. For the upcoming year, the total proposed budget is expected to be $30,749,600. That amount is an increase of just over $1.9 million from the previous year and is a 6.7% increase year over year. Increasing staff costs are a factor in that increase, as each year more teachers and other support staff are needed as student enrollment within school division continues to rise. As for a breakdown of where the funding for the budget comes from for Beautiful Plains, 57.5%, or $17.7 million, is contributed directly through provincial revenue. An additional 18.6%, $5.7 million, is raised through provincial tax credits and grants, and 23.2%, $7.15 million, through local funding. The last 0.7%, $200,000, is raised through other revenue. As for what the proposed budget will actually mean for our property taxes, the cost to a homeowner will depend entirely on the change in their property's value year over year. Using the average assessed increase in 2024 within the division of 8.6%, residential could be up $29 on average for every $100,000 of the value of your home. For commercial properties per $100,000 with a 15.1% assessment, it could increase by $85, while for farmland on a 20.2% assessment, it may be up by $48 per $100,000. These numbers are variable. Property owners should be aware, however, there is also a major change in the availability of provincial tax credits. For this year, it is going from 3.1% in 2024-2025 to 15.8% in 2025-2026. Based on the type of property owned, a residential homeowner will be eligible for up to a $1,500 reduction in their school property taxes, while farmland owners are eligible for 50% off their school property taxes. The mill rate, which is the amount of tax payable per $1,000 of the assessed value of a property, will drop from 10.62 to 10.37, minus 2.35%. The Beautiful Plains School Division trustees have now reviewed these details and finalized the budget at their meeting on Tuesday, March 11th. The budget must be submitted to the province by March the 31st. Beautiful Plains is a rural division that stretches from Spruce Woods Provincial Park to Riding Mountain National Park. It has 14 schools within the district, 7 community schools, and 7 Hutterian schools, and its major centers are Neepawa, Carberry, Brookdale, and Eden. It has approximately 300 staff members and 2,275 plus students. Neepawa Titans score big for cancer research at Hockey Fights Cancer Night. There's a large photo. On Saturday, February 22nd, the Neepawa Titans wore special themed jerseys for their inaugural Hockey Fights Cancer Night against the visiting Wewaysecapo Wolverines. By Josh Jackson, Neepawa Banner and Press. On Saturday, February 22nd, Neepawa Titans fans packed the rink for a great fundraiser for its inaugural Hockey Fights Cancer Night. To celebrate the occasion, the Titans wore specialty jerseys against the visiting Wewaysecapo Wolverines to spotlight the need for research and support in the battle against cancer. Neepawa Titans board member Jamie Denbo said the jerseys received a great reaction all round. The players loved it. They always play hard in a Titans jersey, but they came out even harder in a special game like this, he said. Fans loved the jerseys, loved to support the cause, and were treated to a great Titans win. Also on tap, the Neepawa Titans served a special Ukrainian-themed meal with homemade pierogies and hosted a special chuck-a-puck with proceeds going to cancer initiatives. Denbo said it means a lot to the hockey club to see the community come out and support this cause. Cancer impacts everyone, and we are glad to create an opportunity for the community to support and draw attention to cancer care activities in Neepawa and area, said the board member. After the game, Titans fans had the opportunity to own a piece of Titans history and bid on the game-worn jerseys. The auction was a hit, with many eager Titans fans clamoring to bid on them. The Neepawa Titans are still finalizing the total dollar amount raised, but the club will donate the profits from the specialty jerseys to Neepawa Cancer Care. Titan fans can rejoice as the event returns for the next year. This was step one of a multi-step plan. Next year will be bigger and brighter. The Manitoba Wildlife Federation will be holding a town hall information session March 26, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Royal Canadian Legion. Right in the Center by Ken Waddell. Tariffs a bad choice on both sides of the border. The Federal Liberal Party of Canada leadership race ended in the afternoon on Sunday, March 9th. By the look of the results, the race actually ended before it started. The predicted winner, Mark Carney, received over 85% of the vote. Over 400,000 people signed up to vote, but just over 150,000 people actually voted. It is my understanding that a person doesn't have to pay a membership fee. They only need to register to be a member and to vote in the leadership race. Mark Carney promised throughout the short campaign and in his speech on Sunday that he would stand up to Trump, repeal the carbon tax, and unite the country. It sounds good, except for the fact that Carney has been Justin Trudeau's financial advisor for years and until recently has been a big promoter of the carbon tax. Carney's approach has been that the government has to punish purchasers of gas by taxing it heavily in an effort to get car and truck drivers to use less to save the planet from burning up. It's a very flawed logic because Canada produces a very small percentage of the world's greenhouse gases, especially compared to China, for example. In addition, China uses every fuel available to them to burn, to create energy, heat buildings, and power plants. We in Canada have been taxing our people to solve a problem that may not exist, and even if it does, we aren't doing much to make it worse. The Liberal policies that have limited our economy will continue under Carney, who may well be named Prime Minister by the time you read this column. One of the absolutely worst Liberal policies has been to commit $50 billion to 3 EV car battery plants when we don't even produce an electric car in Canada. Canada has also placed a tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. I believe it's 100%, and that just does two things. It makes them just as expensive as US-built EVs, and it angered the Chinese government to the point that Canada will apply a 100% tariff to just over $1 billion of Canadian canola, rapeseed oil, oil cakes, and pea imports, with a 25% duty on $1.6 billion worth of Canadian aquatic products and pork. The tariffs on canola and pork could have a devastating effect on Manitoba farmers and the economy. Hopefully, Carney will seek to mend the errors of his and the Liberals' ways. Nobody wins in a tariff war. Recently, Dauphin Swan River Neepawa Member of Parliament Dan Mazier said, "Canada putting tariffs on products coming into Canada is like a person punching themselves in the face." The federal Liberals are just as dumb as Trump because he said U.S. citizens won't bear the expense of the tariffs, the countries will. That's not true. Tariffs raise the price of products to the consumer. We also need to get rid of all of the trade barriers between provinces. I think there are still restrictions on sending meat from one province to the other if it is processed in a provincially inspected plant. Small-scale breweries have an awful time getting their products into liquor stores in another province. Trump shouldn't put tariffs on goods from other countries, and neither should Canada. Neither should we play silly protectionist games between provinces. Homebodies by Rita Friesen. When I am old. Strange, isn't it, that when we were young, someone who was 40 was old. Our grandparents were really old, and they may have been 65. I look through the old photo albums and note pictures of my ancestors. Grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles, and they appear more aged when they were in their midlife than when they were 10 years or older. Part of that will be the change in clothing and hairstyles. Part of that will be the very formal way they presented for family pictures. And part of it will be that life in general had become easier. Career pressures under control, family growing and provided for, and retirement in sight. Much easier to smile. Reflecting on family genes and attributes, I am thankful for both. Uncle Henry, an uncle by marriage, so no genetic line, loved sports, skiing, baseball, golfing, and fully engaged in competitions. There was a Taves family reunion at the Kane schoolyard. The afternoon activities included a baseball game. I so clearly recall Uncle Henry, no longer young, probably the age I now am, leaving third, rushing for home plate, his toupee seriously awry. Safely scoring, he adjusted his hairpiece and continued on. I want that. Well, maybe not the hairpiece, but the attitude. One of my aunts, my father's sister, so this is a genetic connection, is 94. Aunt Marilyn continues to be engaged with living, using her musical ability, piano, and voice to encourage others and support her younger-than-me daughter in her musical endeavors. Up until a few years ago, my aunt shared her gifts with seniors, some younger than she. Aunt Marilyn pursued her love for music and education as an adult, raising a family of 5, the wife of a teacher-preacher and a faithful family member to her extended family. Her knowledge of Scripture, her depth of faith, her love for God and family inspire me. Then there was Mr. Bergen, a refugee from Russia, a farmer, a patriarch, an advocate for higher education, and a lifelong learner. No genetics, but what a character. He spoke Low German, I spoke English, and he felt if that worked for the world powers of the time, it worked for us. The parents provided the finances for the oldest child to attend university, and then that child helped the next one, and so on down the line. Now I know that the children were not 4 years apart in age, so there must have been some overlap of support in the family. There were teachers, nurses, and a missionary. The youngest son chose to maintain the farm. I recall watching Mr. Bergen planting an apple tree in a decaying stump in the yard, knowing he would not eat of the fruit, but his children and grandchildren would. Foresight and wisdom. I do wonder what others will remember of me, keeping in mind that I am not yet old and have years left to make a difference. It is my heart's desire that I will be remembered with affection and respect. I am still working on making memories. Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine. Walking the Road of Servanthood. It was something Jesus' disciples never expected to see. Their Lord and Master, their teacher, the one they affectionately called Rabbi, knelt next to them, a towel wrapped around his waist and a basin of water on the floor close by. He moved from one disciple to another, washing their dirty, smelly, blistered, and calloused feet. Jesus didn't have to wash the disciples' feet. As the host of their Passover meal, he could have asked one of the disciples to perform this task. Instead, he waited to see if one of them would volunteer to do it. But when no one did, Jesus did it himself. Jesus' actions, while unusual, were consistent with his character. He had not come to this earth to be served by others. He had come to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. See Matthew 20:28. To accomplish this goal, Jesus had to be totally surrendered to the will of his heavenly Father and be prepared to use his power and resources to help those who his Father brought to him. As one might expect, this did not sit well with some of the people Jesus met during his time on earth. When, for example, he told the residents of Nazareth, the Galilean town in which he grew up, that they shouldn't expect him to do in their town the miracles he had done in Capernaum, they got angry and tried to throw him off a cliff outside of town. When he exposed the sins of the Jewish religious leaders, the priests and other officers in the Jerusalem temple, they rejected him and tried to silence him. When they failed to do that, they joined with others in a conspiracy to put Jesus to death. But despite their threats, Jesus kept serving those his Father brought to him, including some of them, until the day he died. He was faithful to his calling right to the end. Sometimes, to be the servant God wanted him to be, Jesus had to rebuke the common people for the inconsistencies he saw in them. We recall how, after he had fed roughly 17,000 men, women, and children, Jesus showed his disappointment with those who came to see him the following morning. "You aren't here because you saw signs," he told them. "You are here because you ate your fill of loaves and fishes." See John chapter 6, verse 26. They wanted a Messiah who would give them whatever they asked of him. They didn't want a Messiah who would ask anything of them. Jesus wasn't the first one to experience the challenges of being a servant, and he won't be the last. Servants who do what people desire, even when what they desire isn't what is best for them, will always be popular. Those who don't will be mocked, ridiculed, and rejected, just as Jesus was. Choosing to be a public servant, whether in government, business, community service, or church, is not for the faint of heart. But that shouldn't frighten any of us. The road of servanthood may be challenging, but it can also be very rewarding. It begins with a simple prayer, asking God to help us love, accept, and forgive others as He has loved, accepted, and forgiven us. Then we go about our work, seeking to use what God has given us to help those He will send our way. Such faithful service will always bring great rewards. If not in this life, then certainly in the life to come. RCMP update, February, by Corporal Jason Peters, Acting Detachment Commander. In the month of February, the Spruce Plains RCMP had 142 occurrences, including 6 assaults, 7 break-and-enters, 7 frauds, 10 Mental Health Act calls, 5 thefts, 6 traffic collisions, 6 uttering threats, 11 breach of court conditions, and many other criminal code and provincial statutes. And ending community involvement. Officers from the Neepawa Minnedosa RCMP participate in I Love to Read Month by visiting and reading to children at Spring Hill Colony, Glenella School, and Seeds and Sprouts Daycare. Officers gave 2 presentations at High Life, welcoming newcomers to Canada. If you have a community event that you would like the RCMP to participate in, please contact your local detachment. A notice to residents of Westlake Gladstone. A social media post from a local resident in Gladstone is warning people throughout the area to keep an eye out for a pair of dogs. The post states, "This event happened March 10th, 2025 at 2 p.m. across from Clark's funeral home. These dogs took down a deer and mauled it. The deer had to be euthanized by conservation officers. The Conservation Office is asking for information on these animals as other complaints have also been registered. Please contact their office at 204-476-2076. Out of Helen's Kitchen, time change. Helen has a correction. The pork chop recipe from the quilting story featured in the February 28th edition of the paper should have had 1 cup of raw rice in the ingredients. Sorry for the inconvenience. The time change. Do you remember to change your clocks forward? For me, it takes more than a few reminders from local news media, calendar reminders, and friends to remember to change my clocks. I do not relish changing stove, microwave, alarm clocks, and other devices that need to be set manually. I am grateful for smartphones and other digital and Wi-Fi assisted devices which automatically adjust while I am sleeping. So why the time change? As the sun was shining at a time when people were still asleep in bed, it was reasoned that the daylight would benefit far more at the end of the day. By springing forward in March, we allow for more daylight at the end of the day in the spring and summer months. By falling back in November, we allow more daylight in the mornings. The first countries to adopt daylight savings time were Germany and Austria-Hungary in 1916 during World War I. This measure helped to minimize the use of artificial lighting to save fuel for the war effort. In 1918, Canada introduced daylight savings time as a way to increase production during World War I, and again the use of valuable fuel or electricity to keep lights on would be lessened. After the war, daylight savings time was discontinued, but resumed during the Second World War. After the war, DST was used all year round in Canada. Now, not all Canadians follow daylight saving time. Saskatchewan has not observed daylight time since 1966 and stays on Central Standard Time all year round. That means it has the same time as Alberta in the winter, but Manitoba in the summer. Yukon moved to permanent daylight time in 2020 and no longer changes their clocks. It is aligned with Alberta in the winter and BC in the summer. Daylight saving time is now used in over 70 countries worldwide, mainly in North America and European countries, as the length of time the sun shines daily varies with the seasons. Countries near the equator do not change their clocks, since daylight hours are 12 hours long in all seasons. And Helen's recipes this week: the sweet potato feta salad and a spinach and feta quiche. Cattlemen bid on next herd sire by Ken Waddell. The Ranchers Select Simmental Bull brought sellers and buyers together on March 8th at Neepawa. 3 Simmental cattle producers banded together to bring 50 potential herd sires into the sale ring at the Beautiful Plains Ag Complex. The consigners were RKT Simmentals, Rick and Kyle Taylor of Minnedosa, Crestview Land and Cattle Company, Terry Wochishin and family of Erickson, and Crestview Ranch, Greg and Amanda Wochishin of Minnedosa. Over 50 bulls passed under the auctioneer's hammer. Top-selling bull went for $13,000 and the sale average was $7,959. Kyle Taylor told the Banner and Press, "We were pretty happy with the sale. The beef industry is doing pretty well right now, which is nice for a change. Both generations of each family can well remember when cattle prices were very poor and forced many producers to exit the industry." Greg Wochishin said in a phone interview about the sale, "It was all right," in a tone of voice that sounded like an understatement. "It's exciting time in the cattle business. Producers are getting good prices for calves and old bulls so they can spend some money on a replacement bull." Wochishin said the sale was a nice event marking 50 years in the cattle business. The sale was managed by Borson Marketing Services of Mountain View County, Alberta. And a picture: the recent bull sale in Neepawa placed special emphasis on the black baldy. The black baldy is a black-bodied cattle type with a white face. The black skin pigment and hair encroaching around the animal's eye is also considered to give some resistance to pink eye infections. Neepawa Town Council early March meeting by Josh Jackson. Staff are doing as much as they can. Use caution on icy sidewalks. During the Operations Department report at the Neepawa Town Council meeting on March the 4th, Manager of Operations Denny Saquette urged residents of Neepawa to be cautious on the sidewalks due to spring approaching and the freeze-thaw cycle. "It's that time of year when everything gets nice and icy. We've had some good melting recently, but that freezes up," said Saquette. "Be extra vigilant. Staff are doing as much as they can, but with this much heat and freezing, we're trying to thaw out culverts so the water can flow. We don't generally get a bunch of time to go and sand the sidewalks and streets the way we have all winter long." The operations manager noted that the work on the Hamilton Street Road is still in full swing, with more dirt being removed from the hill. The town is reviewing Manitoba Hydro and Bell MTS plans to complete the roadway. In the recreation report, the town announced that the registration date for swimming lessons is swiftly approaching. Registration opens on March 17th at 7 a.m. and runs through March 20th. The sign-up occurs on Neepawa's Let's Camp portal at letscamp.ca/camp/Neepawa-Riverbend-campground. Those signing up their children online are encouraged to check the schedule before registering to know what classes to sign your children up for. The recreation report. Councillor Yvonne Sisley reported that the recently held Neepawa Job Fair was a great success, with many local businesses reporting their pleasure in the event. 16 local businesses set up booths and over 200 eager citizens attended the event, representing a moderate increase since last year. During the town council meeting, Sisley gave an update on the annual winter festival, which went off without a hitch. The town councillor noted that throughout the day, many people could be seen at the flats, skating, building snowmen, participating in an obstacle course, and taking in the event. She thanked Gail Cathcart for preparing and serving the chili and shouted out to the sponsors for making this event successful. The Neepawa Library Advisory Committee is in search of new members to join. To become a part of the committee, you must be a local citizen of Neepawa. Interested participants should contact the library to join. The town has also ordered counters for the library so they can accurately track the amount of patronage and use. Councillor Jason Nadeau also noted that library goers had positive feedback for the newly added digital comic book access, free with your library card at the Neepawa Library. There were 250 accesses of the tool within the first month alone. Councillor Parrott let Council know the date for the annual Neepawa and District Chamber of Commerce Fair. The event will take place May 23rd to 26th. During the meeting, the town also confirmed it planned to host fireworks for Canada Day at the Flats Riverbend Park on July 1st. The town of Neepawa also passed a motion regarding pest control of birds and varmints such as crows, beavers, pigeons, and gophers, which pose a public nuisance and danger to the public. The council deemed it necessary to protect the community and its residents by shooting species that cause a nuisance. The Neepawa Town Council has appointed 5 citizens to act with direction through the Neepawa RCMP and the Chief Administrative Officer to discharge firearms within Neepawa's town limits for pest control during the 2025 year. To wrap up the meeting, the Town Council passed several motions, including entering a service agreement with Manitoba Hydro regarding the Isabel Street project, Eastview Lodge Phase 2 for the planning and installation of streetlights and electrical service, which will cost the town $84,142.60. The town of Neepawa has also contracted a geotechnical investigation for the Project 320 site, the 320-acre parcel of land purchased in 2024, located on the northwest corner of town. The geotechnical investigation measures how well soils resist heat, which affect many things like the cost of construction, the type of foundation needed, and how future developments will be erected. The project will be taken by SSU Engineering Incorporated in conjunction with Sison Blackbird Consulting Incorporation at a cost of $90,400. Local business steps up support for Neepawa Titans. New fundraiser looks to fill the bus this postseason. Banner staff. The distance from Neepawa to the Paw is roughly 524 kilometers, give or take the 200 by 85 feet that are the dimensions of the average ice rink. Well, a local business is looking to shorten that distance one vehicle at a time. On Wednesday, March 5th, Westward Ford announced its Fill the Bus fundraiser for the Neepawa Titans. The premise behind the event will see Westward donate $100 from each vehicle sold in the month of March to the Neepawa Titans to assist with costs related to the postseason. Though Neepawa's first round of playoff opponent was not official as of the Neepawa banner and press publication deadline, it will more than likely be the Northern Manitoba Blizzard. Based out of the Paw, the Blizzard are the most northerly team in all of the MJHL, and therefore an expensive road trip for every other franchise in the league. Costs include bus rentals and fuel, as well as hotel costs for overnight stay when necessary. Even with a barn full of fans for home playoff games, a series like this could be extremely costly to a small market franchise such as the Titans. In an Instagram video announcing the project, General Sales Manager Kelly Stinson discussed the endeavor. We're very excited to get behind the Titans, do a lot of work with Ken Pearson and the crew, and for the month of March, we're going to help fill the bus for these guys. There's a good chance they're headed up north to go against the Blizzard, so we're going to donate $100 per car sale and hope to get to that $2,500 mark. Make sure the team can get up there, get fed, and hopefully have a good long playoff run, stated Stinson. The banner and press spoke with Stinson after the announcement. He noted that they know full well that the operation of a small town business, be it in the auto sales or a hockey franchise, is an expensive proposition. The idea came from years around hockey and knowing how expensive it can be to run an organization. I've known Ken Pearson for many years and came up with the idea about chatting about who they would play first round. He mentioned they would most likely be going to the Paw to take on the Blizzard. As a small town store, we couldn't just cut a check outright to support, but we thought we could tie in a sales promotion for the month of March and donate $100 per sale, Stinson added. Titans head coach and general manager Ken Pearson noted that the team is very appreciative of Stinson and Westward's support as they prepare for the postseason. It is great to have businesses jump on board and help ease the financial pressures of operating a small market junior hockey franchise, said Pearson. Neepawa Rotary fundraiser is one for the books. Collection is now underway for the annual Rotary Club book sale by Owen Devereaux. There will be bargains galore this spring to be found at the Neepawa Rotary Club's annual book sale. The event, which first began back in 2018, is the Rotary Club's largest single fundraising function of the year and is scheduled this spring from May 12th to 16th. Book sale chairperson Murray Newton stated that last year's sale was their most successful to date, as just over $5,000 was raised. Newton said matching that number is going to be a challenge, but everyone involved is feeling optimistic they can give it a go. Book donations are welcome. While the Rotary Club already has about 5 pallets worth of reading materials accumulated, Newton added that they're still looking for even more. If you are interested in helping out, he said there are 5 locations in Neepawa where you can drop off books. We're looking for new books all the time, and we have 5 locations where you can drop them off: Home Hardware, Co-op Grocery, Gill & Schmall Agencies, Stride Credit Union, which is a new location this year, and Arts Forward, expressed Newton. There are bins in each of those places. If people have them in boxes, they can just send the boxes beside our bins and they will get picked up. As well, if people have a bunch of books at one place and they perhaps have trouble getting them down to a location, you can give me a call at 204-476-2542 or call or text my cell phone at 204-841-1647 and we will arrange to get them picked up. For the last 2 years, the book sale has been held at the former Chalet building, but must relocate as that space is now home to a new and thriving local business, Chucky's Liquidation. In a way, the Rotary Club of Neepawa is a victim as its own success, as there are not many places in Neepawa with the space needed to accommodate the massive size of the event. Newton said they were lucky, however, as they have been able to secure an agreement with the Neepawa Junior Rifle Club building located on the agricultural grounds. Newton hopes that people will follow them over to their new home. There are not many places in town that have enough square footage for the sale and are available for the amount of time we need for setup, the sale, and teardown. So we are very grateful to the Rifle Club for working with us on this. The Neepawa Rotary Club book sale will run from Monday, May 12th to Friday, May 16th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. each day. MP Mazier holds meet and greet in Neepawa by Owen Devereaux. Heading into the spring and very likely a spring election, our local member of parliament is interested in learning what's on our minds when it comes to the current state of Canada. On Saturday, March 8th, Dan Mazier hosted a morning meet and greet session at Neepawa's Royal Canadian Legion No. 23. The gathering had no formal agenda other than whatever those in attendance wanted to talk about. The conversation touched on several of the current hot-button topics, though the heavy emphasis lingered on trade tariff tensions within the United States and the added pressures it's applying to our local agricultural sector. Mazier spoke with those in attendance and answered their questions as best he could, but mainly just listened to what the constituents had to say. After the session, he noted to the Banner and Press that these types of events are still the best type of interactions a person can have with their representative. The reality is that there are a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of good information was shared. And the sharing of information was not just one-sided either. There were things I didn't realize people were talking about, such as exporting hay, for example. Real-time stuff going on with these tariffs, said Mazier. But it was more than just talking about that. There were a couple people who brought up other topics asking, what's your thoughts on this? You don't get opportunities all the time, but we have time now and we wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. Connecting lifetime experiences. Royal Bank of Canada branch manager Matthew Beach reflects on 2 years in Neepawa by Casper Warehen. A welcoming and friendly community with a strong spirit of volunteerism. These are but a few words with which Matthew Beach, a mutual funds representative and branch manager of RBC, described Neepawa. Beach, formerly an assistant branch manager in Brandon, joins the RBC Neepawa branch team in September of 2023. The Neepawa Banner and Press had the opportunity to speak with him recently for the purpose of gathering his thoughts of his time here thus far and introducing him to the broader public. I truly enjoy the Neepawa community, said Beach, adding, Neepawa is such a welcoming and friendly community. Seeing how the community comes together to celebrate one another, whether through Filipino Heritage Days or the many other events that span sports, the arts, and so much more. He expanded further, stating, within weeks of settling into my new role, I had many organizations reach out and ask me to join them. This led to me having an exciting opportunity to serve on the Chamber of Commerce board as a board member. It's important to me to support the entrepreneurs and the businesses that help make our community thrive. Something that has been particularly gratifying for him, however, has been the opportunity to work with the team at RBC. The team is very enthusiastic about financial advice and supporting the Neepawa community. They are fantastic at making our clients feel welcomed in the branch, and I am so proud of the difference they make for others, said Beach. Beach noted that this fits in well with his prior background, as his inspiration to pursue his career stems from a long-time knowledge that he wanted to do something that could help others. In addition, he had an interest in both finance and business. Since I was 15, I have enjoyed different leadership roles with different organizations, said Beach. Growing up in southern Manitoba, I had the opportunity to develop my skills in leadership roles within the hospitality industry. I was lucky enough to have an amazing mentor who took the time with me to teach me about running a business, particularly in rural and smaller communities. He expanded further, stating, I also had the opportunity to study under wonderful professors in the business program at Brandon University. My professors were passionate about the importance of every community, entrepreneur, and industry to a thriving economy. What stood out for me was learning how to connect what I learned through career, life experience, and education to the community around me. With these ideals in mind and a wide range of experiences bolstering his practical skills, the opportunity to work for RBC was the perfect fit for Beach. He shared that it was everything he was looking for in an employer, a people-driven, client-focused company that encourages a commitment to continuous learning, career development, and helping bring clients' ideas and goals to life. If there is one thing that Beach has learned throughout his life and years of experience, both personally and professionally, it is to always have a plan, whether it is for your career, for travel, education, or another goal entirely. If you are feeling uncertain or simply haven't had the opportunity to sit down and create a financial plan for you and your family, please come and see us at the Neepawa branch and ask for a financial review, said Beach. The best way to reach your financial goals and dreams is by having a financial review annually with an advisor who can help define and prioritize your goals. We would love to see you. The Market Report by Tyler Slawinski. We shouldn't worry about the things we cannot change, but why is it when changes do happen, we are always the ones that are affected the most? There seems to be a reprieve with some of the tariffs, but they still seem to be held over our heads. The global trade war is definitely creating a bearish market on all commodities. The futures regained most of what was lost over the past week, creating a stable to stronger market this week. Supply and demand is definitely holding the bottom of this cattle market in place. Processing facilities are current. Many feedlots and feed yards are not running at full capacity, and we have marketed a large number of the Canadian cattle for decent returns already. As fewer numbers of cattle trade, we start to see shortages in the market, driving up the prices in certain areas of the market. We are experiencing all-time lows when it comes to cattle numbers in many parts of the world. We are seeing a market correction for the time being. How long will it last? We aren't sure. Hopefully it's a short-term disruption and we can find some market neutrality moving forward. The market was stronger in just about every class of cattle this week. Cattle that will be fit for grass or breeding are selling quite strong, all things considered. We saw a very impressive set of cattle on March 11th and very good quality. First cut cattle are selling strong. Most of the feeder cattle sold well throughout today's market. Second and third cut cattle are definitely seeing big discounts. If they don't fit the orders, they are soon sorted from the packages. The cattle are still in demand, and I expect to see supply and demand create market stability moving forward. We sold 973 head of cattle through the ring in Gladstone on Tuesday. Cows and bulls trended with steady averages. Feeding type cows and heiferettes are still selling stronger than yielding cows. Yielding cows still traded with strength from 170 to 182, looking like strong demands. Feeding type cows are ranging between 183 to 194. Bulls traded stronger, ranging between 210 and 233. All classes of cattle sold well. Plainer type cattle are still being discounted. Here's a look at the feeder market. Some highlights from the sale. Crossbred steers weighed 503, traded for a decent 525 per pound. Black steers weighed 602 and traded for 479.50. Black steers weighed 762 and bought 401. Charolais steers weighed 804 pounds and they hit 387. A ring full of bigger brothers weighed 929 and they checked out at 349. Heifers, black heifers weighed 429 and traded for 538. Crossbred heifers weighed 586 and brought 414. Black heifers weighed 649 and made 414.50. Tan heifers weighed 723 and traded for 370.50. Last but not least, a big set of 10 27-pound black heifers sold for $296. Neepawa Novas excel at Morden Magic competition. Of the large photo, the Neepawa Novas had a lot of fun and success recently at the Morden Magic competition. Pictured here are a number of those who participated in the competition. Top left, the participants and medalists for session 1 of the competition. Top right and above left, the participants and medalists for the session 2 of the competition. And above, participants and medalists for the final session of the competition. The Neepawa Novas Gymnastics Club had a very successful outing at the Morden Magic competition recently. The results for the sessions are detailed below. Session 1, Natalie, CCP4 2011 to 2012, vault second, bars second, beam first, floor second, all around second place. Ava, vault third, bars third, beam third, floor second, all around third place. Aliena, vault first, bars first, beam first, floor first, all around first. Reagan, vault second, bars third, beam third, floor third, all around third. Jane, vault sixth, bars sixth, beam fourth, floor first, all around fifth. Jaden, vault third, bars fifth, beam seventh, floor seventh, all around seventh. Kayana, vault third, bars eighth, beam sixth, floor fourth, all around fifth. Alora, vault first, bars second, beam first, floor first, all around first. Hadley, vault third, bars first, beam first, floor first, all around first. Final session, AV, vault sixth, bars first, beam third, floor fifth, all around fifth. Raven, vault second, bars fourth, beam first, floor first, all around first. Kylie, vault seventh, bars first, beam first, floor first, all around first. Kudos to each of these Novas on their efforts. The Women's Resource Center invites you to a focus group discussion, the topic gender-based violence in rural communities. Tuesday, March 25th, 6 to 7 p.m. at the Neepawa Public Library in Neepawa, Manitoba. The Westburn Open Bonspiel results. Several pictures. The Westburn Open Bonspiel concluded recently. It was held from February 27th to March 2nd, and it is reported that a good time was held by all. Appreciation is extended to all those who made it a success, sharing laughs and making memories from the great food, costume contest, social night featuring Prairie Line, and the great curling. Top left, Southpaw Ag Services A event winners, Caitlin Davey, Skip, Chaz Lambert, Daisy McKee, and Paula Kalida. Second place was the Doug Kuhn rink. Top right, Suregrove Farm Services B event winners, Tim Davey, Skip, Wade Duchak, Kyle Duchak, and Clark Murray. Second place was the Lindsay Viewery rink. Left, Don's Direct Deals C event winners, Jason Heeman, Skip, Chelsea McInnes, Cassandra Clark, and Aaron Butterfield. Second place was the Heather Davey rink. It is now Pharmacy Appreciation Month. How to navigate medication and exercises. And meet your pharmacists at Harris Pharmacy, Heather Toderick, Kristen Tibbett, Jackie Pollock, and the pharmacy technicians, and your pharmacist at Super Thrifty, Heather Saquette. Neepawa Ballers Winter League season comes to a close. The Neepawa Ballers Winter League concluded its schedule on Sunday, March 9th. In the senior division, the Brandon Ballers defeated the IWC Kings. Meanwhile, in the junior division, the Cuties rested the rookies. Congratulations to the Brandon Ballers and Cuties on the victory, and to all the players, coaches, organizers, sponsors, and volunteers for all the time and effort they put into ensuring the league remains a huge part of Neepawa's basketball culture. Neepawa Tigers sweep first round playoff series, facing Dauphin next in WHSHL playoffs by Owen Devereaux. The Neepawa Tigers have made quick work of their opening round opposition in the Westman High School Hockey League playoffs. The Tigers ended up sweeping the Glenboro Carberry Balder Wildcats in a best-of-3 series, closing out the first round with a 6-4 win on Friday, March the 7th. Ian Foster earned a hat trick in this game, while Wyatt Negevin also potted a pair for Neepawa. Cohen Kilbacki had the other goal for the Tigers. This trio also scored all of Neepawa's gold in Game 1 of the series, which was a 5-2 result for Neepawa back on Wednesday, March the 5th. For the next round, Neepawa are paired against the Dauphin Clippers, who also swept their series, which was against the RGG Raiders. Game 1 of this best-of-3 was played in Dauphin on Tuesday, March the 11th. In this matchup, it was the Clippers who dominated, ultimately winning 7-1. Colin Kilbacki had the lone goal for the Tigers, his 4th of the postseason, while Ian Foster assisted on the effort. Game 2 was played in Neepawa on Wednesday, March 12th, and started just after the Neepawa Banner and Press weekly publication deadline. Game 3, if needed, was scheduled for March 13th in Dauphin. All details will appear in an upcoming edition of the Banner and Press. The photo shows the Neepawa Tigers able to make quick work of the GCB Wildcats in their opening round playoff series, winning 2-0. A photo at the top right, Zach Plett wins WHSHL Top Scoring Defenseman Award. A Neepawa Tigers defenseman receiving a year-end award has started to turn into a little bit of tradition in the WHSHL. Recently, Zach Plett was honored with the league's Top Scoring Defenseman Award. Plett had a solid 40-point campaign, 8G 32A, on the blue line this season. This is the third year in a row that a Neepawa Tiger has won the award, as Ward Brister won it in 2022-2023 and Ryland Bray in 2023-2024. Recent success for Neepawa minor hockey. 2 photos. A pair of Neepawa minor hockey clubs have had some recent success. Congrats to the U9 Titans, pictured on the left, who recently went undefeated through both their regular season and the Parcasimo League playoffs. As well as shout out to the under-11 Titans, who earned themselves a silver medal at an event recently held in Reston. Neepawa Titans close out regular season road schedule by Josh Jackson. The Neepawa Titans aren't taking their foot off the gas to end the regular season. The team which has clinched a playoff spot sits in third place in the MGEU West Division with 65 points. The team played at home on Saturday, March 8th, before heading out for their final 2 road games on Sunday and Tuesday. The Titans started their series on Friday as the Verdun Oil Capitals came into town. Despite Verdun bringing a busload of fans to attempt to turn the tides, the Titans would come away victors. The Oil Caps found themselves in penalty trouble early as they headed to the box for slashing, granting the Titans a power play. Although the Titans would pepper the shots during the PP, Verdun would kill it, keeping the game scoreless. Minutes later, both teams would trade holding penalties, and although a flurry of activity happened during 4-on-4 play, neither team could get ahead. Neepawa would find themselves down a man to start the second frame after drawing a hooking penalty with 30 seconds to play. The Titans would stave off the penalty kill to start the second, then would find themselves back on the power play 39 seconds into the period after Verdun headed to the box for slashing. The Titans would make quick work of the power play as Brian Gower would set up Jackson Kohut for his third of the season, giving the Titans a 1-0 edge. Caden Hegarty would blast one home just over a minute into the third period, putting the Titans up 2-0. Before Verdun would strike midway through the third to make it a 2-1 game. In the dying minutes of the third, Gower would score an empty netter on the power play, and Mason Hartley would require the extra insurance goal on the empty net as the Titans triumphed 4-2. Goalie Mason Lebreau stood tall in the crease, stopping 23/24 shots. Titans center Hegarty was the game's first star and reflected on his team's effort. I think we started a little rocky. It was 0-0 in the first, and I thought that was fine. Then we got a slow start in the second, said the athlete. We got lucky being up 1-0 after the second, and I think we had a good response in the third after they scored to hold them off and end up with the win. After that game, the Titans faced a quick turnaround, traveling to Niverville for an evening bout against the Nighthawks on March the 9th, then on the road to Selkirk Tuesday, March 11th for the last Titans away game of the season. Hegarty outlined what the Titans have to do to earn success on their remaining road games. I think we just have to rest up with the tight turnaround, go out, make simple plays, and get our bus legs out of us. We have to win these games on the road. They're 2 good teams, and it will be 2 big wins for us. We have to go out and play our best hockey and into the playoffs. The Titans would prove to do just that and come out swinging against the Nighthawks, pummeling them 5-2. Casey Cockett was sharp in net, stopping 35 out of 37 shots, while the Titans' special teams would click again as they went 3-3 on the power play, with goals from Dawson McCann, Ryan Gower, and Mason Hartley. Neepawa's penalty kill went 3-3, with Hartley tallying a shorthanded goal. Hegarty noted the team has been working on special teams, which is proving effective. That's always a huge thing. 5-on-5 is pretty even for most games, so being able to win the special teams battles is huge. So that's big for us to be clicking and has been difference in our games. On Tuesday, the Titans faced their last game on the road against the Selkirk Steelers. The Titans would come up short to close out their last road game, losing a 5-3 decision to the Steelers in a chippy affair. Neepawa would fall short on the power play, going 2 for 5, while the penalty kill fought off 4 out of 5 power plays. The Neepawa Titans wrap up their last 2 games of the season at the Yellowhead Center on March 14th against the Dauphin Kings and March 15th against the Verdun Oil Capitals, a 7:30 p.m. start for both games. Hartley shines as MGHL Star of the Week. The Neepawa Titans' Mason Hartley, 04, has been named as Manitoba Junior Hockey League Star of the Week. After scoring against the Verdun Oil Capitals in an important MGEU West Division win on Saturday, March 8th, Hartley followed up with a monster performance against the Niverville Nighthawks on Saturday, March 9th, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists in a 5-2 win for Neepawa. Hartley and the Titans remain with an outside shot at second place in the MJHL's Western Division. and home ice in the opening round of the MJHL McMahon Yates Turnbull Cup playoffs. Rivers and Verdun lead THHL semi-final series by Owen Devereaux. It appears as though a showdown between the Rivers Jets and the Verdun Oil Kings in the Tiger Hills Hockey League final is all but inevitable. As of Tuesday, March 11th, both clubs held on to 2-0 series leads in their semi-final matchups, though they had reached this point in very different ways. For Rivers, their 2 wins were most definitely earned against the Killarney Shamrocks, as Game 1 went into overtime and Game 2 went right down to the final buzzer. The result, however, was the same, as the Rivers Jets came away with a pair of 3-2 wins. Game 3 of the best-of-5 series was played just after the Banner and Press publication deadline on March 12th. In the other series, Verdun has had a much easier time against the Hartney Blues in their first 2 games, winning 8-1 and 7-1 respectively. For Game 3 in Hartney on Tuesday, March 11th, it was a bit closer, but Verdun still won 4-3 and has now advanced to the league final. Obituaries this week for Lorne Bubby Kennedy, Vivian Campbell, and Tom Clark. Beautiful Plains Archive History, Brookdale Sports Day. The photo is dated to July of 1980 and is in relation to Brookdale School's Sports Day. The Ray McIntyre Cup, which was presented annually to the winning team at the Sports Day, went to Chudley's champions that year. Pictured Captain Kerry Chudley accepts the trophy from teacher Jean McDonald. Team members back row from the left are Danny Pankratz, Tori Wilson, Trevor McLeod, Beverly McLeod, Kerry, Mrs. McDonald. In the middle row, Glenn Swanson, Colin Fraser, Jackie Tom, Lisa Slezak, Donald McKee. The front row, Irene Simpson, Tanya Slezak, Charlie Simpson, Wayne Bonnet, Blair Vince. The cup was first presented in 1962 in memory of former student Ray McIntyre, who died in a drowning accident. Neepawa Titans set to host Ag Expo and Auction by Josh Jackson. Spring has almost sprung, and with the upcoming farming season around the corner, the Neepawa Titans are looking to help farmers get an edge with its annual Neepawa Ag Expo and Auction. The 2-day online timed auction runs on March 25th to 27th, 2025. Event organizer Matthew Lowry noted this is the 8th year the Titans have put on this event. We started with the idea of trying to connect with the agriculture industry and come together for a fundraiser with local and surrounding businesses and connect farmers with their products, he said. We came up with the idea to get some donations from these businesses in exchange for some promotion and a platform where they can promote their products. Although the Expo auction has evolved since 2020, its main goal is to connect farmers with local businesses. The auction is hosted by DSLM Farmgate Timed Auctions, and interested bidders can make their wagers at www.farmgatetimedauctions.ca/auction/28353. Lowry said there are plenty of great items for you to bid on. We have a 6-hour tractor rental from Ag West Farm Equipment. We have battery-powered chainsaws and some gift certificates. We also have some canola seed, wheat seed, and plenty of other stuff, said the organizer. This fundraiser is critical to the yearly operations of the Neepawa Titans, as running a junior hockey club takes a lot of volunteers, time, and plenty of funds to provide a good place for junior hockey players to play hockey. There are expenses anywhere from money for billets, buses, and coaches, he said. One big thing the money from this auction is going towards is paying for ice rental fees at the Yellowhead Arena in town. It helps keep the money local and circulating in our community, which is great. In addition to helping out the hockey club, Lowry noted that 10% of the proceeds will be returned to the Yellowhead Center to help with facility upgrades. We wanted to add another organization to this big fundraiser for our community, and we had decided to include the Yellowhead facility this year. It houses so many things in our community. It's not only hockey and figure skating, but we also have gymnastics in the hall, and it hosts socials, fundraising events, daycares, and day camps throughout the summer. It's a big part of our community, and we wanted to contribute a little bit to the upgrade of the HVAC system in the hall to help tackle that big bill. Lowry feels immense pride running the auction as he played 61 games with the then called Neepawa natives from 2004 to 2006. He said it's gratifying to give back to the club that once helped him. I know many people who fundraised and contributed to help me play junior hockey back in the day. It was also a big part of me going to play other levels of hockey, said the former player. If I can contribute a little bit to helping some other kids playing junior hockey and making friends and memories in Neepawa, then it's a victory for me, and I'm happy to do it. Lowry said the hockey club is grateful to see businesses in the area step up for the Titans. It's great to see that there's lots of support from local businesses and people willing to help out in any way and contribute. The donations add up quickly and makes a big difference when awesome businesses come together. To view the products you can bid on, head to the Neepawa Titans Facebook page or stay tuned for the full listing in an upcoming edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. The picture in the bottom right, Old Canada, Minnedosa. Pictured here is a view of Minnedosa. It is estimated by Old Canada Series that this photo was taken sometime in the 1950s. The Lyric Theatre and many other amenities of the time can be seen along Main Street, as well as a variety of vehicles that could be seen in that day and age. MP Mazier, It's Time to Put Canada First, by Dan Mazier, Member of Parliament, Dauphin, Swan River, Neepawa. Donald Trump's renewed threats of unjustified tariffs on Canadian goods are a stark reminder that we cannot take our economic security for granted. This is a wake-up call for all Canadians. We must stand up for ourselves, defend our nation, and put Canada first. Yet instead of rising to the occasion, the Liberals have shut down Parliament for 3 months in the midst of an economic crisis. At a time when elected officials should be working around the clock to protect Canadian jobs and industries, they have prioritized their party's interest over the country's well-being. This is unacceptable. Canadians deserve a government focused on solutions, not one that turns its back when leadership is needed most. Many Canadians have asked how Conservatives will respond to these threats. Conservatives have a clear and decisive Canada First plan to protect Canadian jobs, industries, and sovereignty. As your local Member of Parliament, I am committed to implementing this plan if we form government. The time for political games is over. If the Liberal government refuses to recall Parliament to address this crisis, then they must call an election and let Canadians choose who will fight for them. Our Canada First plan will respond to U.S. tariffs with dollar-for-dollar retaliation, ensuring every cent collected supports affected businesses, workers, and tax cuts for Canadians. We will take decisive action to strengthen our economy, including repealing the unconstitutional No More Pipelines Law, Bill C-69, to ensure major natural resource products can be approved quickly to get our goods to market. We will take back control of our Arctic with the first permanent Arctic base since the Cold War, add 2 heavy icebreakers, and expand the Canadian Rangers to defend our sovereignty. Expanding the Cadet Corps and Junior Rangers will bring young Canadians together under the mentorship of our armed forces to instill discipline, unity, and patriotism. We will remove trade barriers between provinces to unlock billions in economic potential and establish a standardized trucking agreement to get goods moving efficiently across Canada. We will make home ownership more affordable by eliminating GST on new homes under $1 million and helping Canadians save thousands in mortgage costs and creating jobs for our skilled trades workers. A bring-it-home tax cut will lower taxes on energy, work, investment, and home building while cutting government red tape. We will empower Indigenous communities to help create their own source of money for clean drinking water, schools, and job training by allowing energy companies to direct a portion of their federal taxes to local First Nations. We will take back control of our border by sending military troops and helicopters, adding 2,000 new border agents, building surveillance towers, and deploying truck-mounted drone systems to detect illegal crossings. Scanners at all major land crossings and ports will stop drugs, guns, and stolen vehicles from entering our communities. We will restore respect for Canadian history by building a monument to those who served in Afghanistan, strengthening penalties for defacing national symbols, and reinstating Canadian icons like Terry Fox in our passport. Reversing Bill C-5 and BC 75 to end the catch and release policies that have allowed violent repeat offenders to be out on bail, and imposing life sentences on fentanyl traffickers will get tough on crime and crack down on the devastating drug crisis. We will restore in-person citizenship ceremonies and renew the oath to include a pledge of gratitude to who built and defended this country. A national Blue Seal professional licensing standard will ensure that doctors and nurses can work anywhere in Canada, and that those trained abroad can quickly contribute to our workforce. Canada cannot afford to be complacent. Our Canada First plan is the bold, decisive policy we need to defend our interests, protect our sovereignty, and fight for a stronger future. As your local MP, I am ready to implement this plan with a Conservative government that is committed to putting Canada first. Canada is the greatest country in the world. We are a nation built by hard work, sacrifice, and determination. From the farmers who feed our families, to the workers who power our economy, to the soldiers who defend our freedoms, our strength comes from our people. We stand on the shoulders of generations who fought to build this country, and it is our duty to ensure Canada remains the true north, strong and free. Now is the time to stand together, to be proud of who we are, and to always put Canada first. And there's a picture. The Neepawa Figure Skating Club had a busy time at a provincial championship recently. It is reported that everyone did well. The conclusion of the event included a silver medal win for Ashley, as well as golds for Jaden, Bailey, and Annika. The latter three thus become provincial Star 8 Synchro champions. Pictured here are just a few of those who participated. Kudos to all NFSC members who attended. And we just have time for one short article that's continued from an interest of last week. In the Looking Back section for February 8th, 2025, there was an entry from the 1900 archives regarding the Boer War. The entry read, "The news that the Boers are firing shells into Ladysmith charged with sauerkraut and plugged with Limburger cheese is disquieting. Why doesn't Buller hurry up?" A kind reader of the Neepawa Banner and Press, Jeff Henderson of Franklin, has provided further explanation. The remark is noted to be a xenophobic late Victorian era insult drawing from British influence. A short form of the explanation. The Boers were descendants of colonists that settled in the area after release from the Dutch East Indies Trading Company service. Dutch at the time included the region where Limburger cheese was developed. There was an overlap of Germanic, Holy Roman Empire, Dutch, and French, hence the sauerkraut. During the Boers' siege on the town of Ladysmith, they had poor quality ammunition. They also had poor quality gunpowder and had quality control issues. Meanwhile, the British had higher quality product for both. Taking the above factors into account, opportunity was seized to not only jab at the poor quality of the Boers' ammunition, but to insult the heritage of Britain's enemies. And a thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up to Grit Force Fitness in Neepawa for their recent purchase of new weightlifting equipment. For an older lifter such as myself, who can't really lift as heavy with the free weights as I used to, it's nice to have the option to push yourself a little on the machines and be able to do so in a safe manner. Owen Devereaux, Neepawa. If you would like to send a thumbs up or thumbs down to an individual or group in the community, send it to Neepawa Banner. Thank you.